Yeah, so many Australian interviews, Jürgen.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's really. I have never been to Australia before. Never to Australia, never to New Zealand, and it looks like this album might give me a chance to maybe play the first shows over there. We have a great concert agency here in Europe working for Mad Max. It's called Eternal Rock Music Agency, and maybe if some of your listeners or whoever sees or hears this interview, they can get in touch with me, maybe with you guys. If you want,
that's right. I'll put all the details in the description later. But
and I think after 45 years, maybe it's time for Mad Max to come over to Australia.
Yeah, we would love it, man.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
A lot of songs to choose from 45 years band history.
Yeah, that's right. Over 45 years, man. Like that is just such a massive history. Spanning, I'm 40 this year, so the band is technically older than me because I was born in '86.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I found it. Actually, I founded the band back in 1981. Can you believe that?
81, man. I was reading through and I seen that, and I was
before we were born.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? The funny thing is, what is really, really special on this new album, on the Stories of Destiny album, is that I'm going full circle with this album because I have the really once in a lifetime chance to bring back my very first singer I started with in 1981, and he's singing 2 songs here on Stories of Destiny, one duet on Piece of Candy with my brand new singer Alan Clark from Newcastle in the UK. And I'm doing a Spanish version of the Piece of Candy song for all my fans in South America, together with Andreas. So I'm going full circle.
Andreas, that's right, yeah.
Now that's crazy. And you know what? Piece of Candy was the very first, the guitar riff for Piece of Candy was the very first guitar riff 45 years ago I brought up for the band. And that's how everything started. And now on the Stories of Destiny album, I had the chance to take the song with the original singer, the original guitar riff, and funny thing, even the same arrangement that in 1981 and the same tuning, you know,
wow.
A lot, because a lot of the bands, of the older bands, let's put it this way, because of the singer, they have to drop down the guitar tuning. You know, if you're in guitars, or all your listeners that are in guitars, they know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, and so I had the privilege of doing all the songs on this album in the original tuning. I didn't have to drop something down, and Alan and Andreas, they were both capable of singing the songs in the original key, you know.
That's amazing. I love that. And that's the thing. So 40 years and it's come back to the full circle, and Stories of Destiny feels like that final culmination with songs like Piece of Candy. Even one of my favorites, can I just quickly say, was Bullet. Bullet absolutely blew my mind, actually.
Alan will love to hear that, because this is Alan's songwriting contribution to this album. Because we thought Alan, you have to know, Alan is a superb songwriter in the tradition of the British hard rock scene.
Yes,
and that's why we took Alan for the band, and he's the perfect choice. Because, for example, the song Silver on this album, which was the very first single from the Stories of Destiny album, this is a song I originally wrote in the early 2000s for a guy named Gary Barden. You will know Gary Barden. He was the singer for the Michael Schenker group.
The Schenker group, that's right, yes.
For a decade, and toured all around the world with Michael Schenker. And in the early 2000s, he wanted to record his first solo album. And I wrote this song for Gary Barden. And as you know, Gary Barden is from England as well.
Yes, yeah.
And so my whole influences are more or less British bands. You know, when I started out, I was influenced by bands like Saxon, Iron Maiden,
Yeah.
the early Def Leppard, when the
Yes.
sound was not that
New wave
polished.
of British heavy metal, it was called.
Yeah,
Yeah.
new wave. That's what they called back in the days. That's
Yeah.
what they called the new wave of British heavy metal. And the thing is, Alan, because Alan's from the UK as well, I could keep that feel. You know, it's a different feel if you work with a singer from Germany or if you work with a singer from America. It's a
Yeah.
different thing. You know, I mean, you know that from your favorite, your one of my favorite Australian bands was just on tour here in Germany, Rose Tattoo.
Oh, yes,
You know,
they're
yeah,
fantastic, aren't they?
yeah, it's a killer band, and all the places were sold out. And but then Angry Anderson, the singer, got ill, and they
Oh,
yeah, and they had to stop the tour. And yeah, they only played a couple of shows and had to cancel the rest
oh, damn.
because
Yeah.
Angry had to go to the hospital, and it's not sure what really happened. But right now the whole tour is stopped and canceled, and who knows if they ever will reschedule it, maybe
Yeah.
someday.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 And so it's, I'm really happy that now for Stories of Destiny I have a singer from the UK, because he can sing all those songs that I wrote back in the days that are more or less influenced by the new wave of British heavy metal,
Yeah.
because it would sound totally different with a singer with an original native speaker from Germany or with a native speaker from
Yeah.
America, and so I could keep the whole vibe of the song.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the second single, "Keep You Alive," I wrote with a very famous guitar player, with Sasha Gessner from Halloween. I think
Yeah.
Yes.
Halloween
Yeah. That's what
is,
I was going to ask about, some of these collaborations that really
yeah,
have brought some of these songs to the
yeah.
forefront for this album.
Because with this album, I not only wanted to tell the story of the band, the 45 years of the band, but also my personal story, that I'm not only a songwriter for one band, that I also wrote many songs for other artists that
Many.
they
Yeah.
released for their projects or their solo albums or whatever. But all the songs are on all the songs on Stories of Destiny are brand new recordings,
Yeah.
though the songs have been written decades ago.
But I think that's
Sometimes,
beautiful too.
It is.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was important for me. Also, like if you take the song that you liked so much,
Bullet.
the
Yeah.
Bullet song, yeah, uh, Alan came up with it, but we did a Mad Max version of the song uh, to give it the sound of the band. But that's a great thing with Alan, because his songwriting really fits well into the band. And maybe with the next album, we can bring in more of Alan's songs.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But he also has his band in the UK. It's called Dark Heart.
Yep.
It's
Yes.
more,
Okay. Yes, I have heard of Dark
yeah,
Heart. Yes.
and it's more Dark Heart is more often what you would call AOR oriented rock band. And of course, for Mad Max, we needed a different sound. But Bullet was the song that really fits the Mad Max sound the
Yes.
best.
Yep.
So we said to Alan, okay, let's take one of your songs to show the band, to show the fans that you're the not only the new singer, but only that you're a great songwriter as well.
Yeah.
Because that could be an interesting part. Because a lot of people are asking me, okay, what will you come up with the next album? What's it gonna be?
Yeah. Yeah,
Wait.
that's right.
Yeah, I'm maybe we think about that. But right now, it's the Stories of Destiny album. I think it's a very good overview uh, about the last decades. I wrote songs for the band and for other artists,
Yep.
and so this even for people that maybe never have heard of Mad Max so far,
Yeah.
because like I said, I've never been in Australia. We never played in Australia. These days, touring is very expensive. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to bring the band over. You need the flights, you need the
Yep.
hotels, and yeah, it's not that easy. My hope is maybe to get the band on some big festivals.
Yeah.
That
Broaden out. Yeah.
would
Definitely.
make it easier. And you know, if that's what we did with South America, for example. We had a big festival there, and that brought the band over to Colombia and to Brazil. And then when the band is already in the country, it's easier to play some club shows on top, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And that's actually what we have here in Australia is a lot of different festivals with club shows that happen on top.
Absolutely, that would be my plan. There are one or two big festivals that would make it possible to pay the flights and
Yep,
stuff, and then you can add some club shows and play because Australia is a huge country.
that's
You know,
Mm.
right.
Yeah,
it's
so
It's a long
South
distance
America.
between
Yeah,
destinations.
absolutely. We had one show in Bogota, which is the capital of Colombia, and then for the big festival show, we had to fly like 2 hours
Yeah,
to the next part of the country, you know. And yeah, in Australia, it would be more or less the same
yep,
procedure.
yep,
definitely
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
sort of leads into my first question for you. You've had the opportunity, like you said, to co-write with some incredible musicians over the last 45 years. And Stories of Destiny brings some of those songs back, like you said, into the Mad Max era, what it is now. When you revisited that material, how much did you want to preserve of the original idea, and how much did you want to like reinvent?
yeah, or new solos or stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's a very good question. Um, no, the thing is, it's like it's I had the vision that I had is to keep the songs as original as possible. Just
Awesome.
less is more. That's my philosophy, you
I
know.
love that.
Uh, so, like I did it with Piece of Candy, like I told you earlier, it's the same arrangement, the same guitar key, exactly the same guitar riff, and that's what I did with all the other songs as well. I kept the original arrangements. I didn't change anything. I kept the original solos, like 80%. Of
Yeah,
course,
wow.
different guitar players play different
Yeah,
solos,
yeah,
but more or less the arrangements are 100% like the original songs. I didn't want to change the songs. For Silver, of course, for example, the arrangement is 100% original, but the original version features more keyboard sounds
ah,
because
yep,
back in the days,
at that time.
you know, Michael Schenker Group always had great keyboard
yep,
players, and Gary Barden wanted some keyboards in it, like a little bit those Deep Purple sounding
yep,
keyboards. Of course, Mad Max has no keyboards. We
Yeah,
play with two guitar players. Of course, I needed for Silver. I needed a version without too much keyboards
yep,
because when we play live, you know, I want to just play live the same kind of style that I have on the album. And I
yep,
don't want to add a keyboard player, but and I don't want to add something on tape. You know,
yep,
that's
yeah,
important for me. This is more the AC/DC philosophy. You know, you see what you get, and that's the reason when I chose the songs for the Stories of Destiny album, I told the guys, okay, I want to keep all the arrangements 100% original, like the original songs.
Can I
nice.
just say, after hearing that, that I really do feel the 80s literally sitting in there with the track Piece of Candy. When I was listening to it, I'm like, I grew up with a lot of that music, and I was like, I can just feel the 80s in this. It was dripping with 80s. And the fact that you've let us know that you kept a lot of those arrangements, that's where it comes from. So I love that. Fantastic, Jürgen.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I mean, you when I start with an album, I need a vision, you know?
Yep.
It would have been easy for me for this album just to write 10 new songs.
Yeah.
But but I felt this album needed more storytelling, you
Yeah.
know?
A
Not
celebration.
just 10 songs. Um, I felt this album needed for each and every song needed a story I could tell. I could tell you how I invented the guitar riff, when it was recorded, and each and every song stands a little bit for like a decade. You know, there are
Yep.
songs from the early 80s. Then the
2000s
two Mad
even,
Max
yeah.
demos, Weapons of Love, Until the End of Time, they are early 90s.
90s, yep.
Yeah, and I had those, for example, those two songs, Weapons of Love, Until the End of Time, I only had on a cassette player.
Oh wow! You
On a
only had
cassette,
the demos on a cassette
yeah,
player or the
that was,
tracks.
yeah, that was all I had. And even from those songs, we kept the original arrangement.
I
We
love it.
didn't even change the arrangement because I wanted the fans to hear the songs how they were written in the early 90s, 1991.
Yeah,
So I'm going from 1981 to 1991, then the early 2000 with the Gary Barton songs,
yeah, bit of a
and then
time
going into
machine.
and then going into the like a time machine,
Yeah.
exactly. And then going into the 2010 around to 810,
Wow. Yeah.
where I came up with "Keep You Alive" with the guy
Keep you
from
alive.
guitar
Yeah.
player from Halloween. Yeah, and then the youngest song, of course, is the song from Alan, "Bullet,"
Oh yeah,
that he
Bullet.
brought.
Yep. Yep.
So we again, like we
Full
talked
circle.
earlier, again it's full circle again, going from 1981 into now. And I think that that was for this album the perfect vision. And each and every song tells a story of destiny, and that's why the album is called Stories of
Stories of
Destiny.
Destiny. Well, that
Yeah,
will actually lead to my next
not my
question in a
idea.
minute.
Yeah, my drummer Axel, he came up with the idea for the title, and I said, okay, this is the perfect title because in the end, each and every song on this album is a song of destiny and tells a story of destiny of the band,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the ups and downs in 45 years.
Well, that'll lead to my next question about the comic book and the storytelling behind all of this stuff. I believe it was artist Mastro Atoro.
Yeah.
Yep.
Arturo Said, this is
Arturo.
the drawer from Mexico. And the comic book is right now only released in South America,
In South
in,
America, that's what I
in
read. Yeah, I was
Spanish,
trying to find and I couldn't.
Spanish, of course, in the Spanish words. But for next year, you will see the comic getting released with an English translation, which
Nice.
is very
Thank you.
important. And for the artwork of Stories of Destiny, for the booklet, for the CD booklet and the vinyl booklet, for me, it was very important. I told the record company, okay, I want to give the fans a little glimpse of what's to come with this comic book. And
Yes.
so we put some bits and pieces of the original comic into the artwork of the digipack and the vinyl, so the fans can see some bits and pieces already, and hopefully next year buy the whole comic book for a very fair price, hopefully, because we managed to sell the comic book. I mean, I'm not selling it by myself, of course.
Mm.
It's the company that's selling it in South America is called Comic Busters. That's
Yep.
one of the biggest comic companies in South America. They have like Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, and all those Marvel comic stuff, and a lot of special, a lot of special
Yeah, we love that
South
stuff.
American comic stuff. And it's really a huge company, and they're selling the comic in South America.
Really cool.
And hopefully next year you can get the comic then in Australia as well,
Yeah.
with an English translation.
Definitely.
Awesome. I love that. Now, I'll just quickly jump in there for a sec, Jürgen, and just this is the part of our show where we just quickly ask our guests to do a shout out. All you got to say is your name, your band, and that you're watching Heavy Energy.
Okay. Hi guys, this is Jürgen Breforth from Mad Max, and you're watching Heavy Energy.
Awesome.
That was a
Thank
good
you
one.
very much, Jürgen. That's awesome.
That was a good one.
Brought the
pleasure.
fire.
My pleasure.
Nice.
I'll hand this second last question over to Kyle.
Yeah, I've got this one for you. You touched on it before. This new album, that you're doing, it also contains 2 previously unreleased Mad Max songs from 1991 till the End of Time and Weapons of Love. And why did those songs remain sort of unreleased for so long?
Yeah.
And what made this now the right time to finally bring those songs to life? So that see it.
Great question. The thing was, at the end of the 80s, my singer Michael Voss, that he left the band, and I stood there. I had a band but no singer, and we all thought, okay, how can we go on with the band? And we said, okay, before we are looking for a new singer, let's see what kind of new songs we had just released the Night of Passion album back in 1987, which was a super huge success all over the world. We toured with Striper, Pretty Mates, Deep Purple. Everything worked pretty well. Then the singer left. I mean, a lot of bands know this situation. And Till the End of Time and Weapons of Love were one of the first songs we wrote without Michael Voss, because he was out of the band. And at that time, remember, it was end of the 80s. There was no internet, no mobile phones, nothing. We didn't even know where he was. It was a really crazy situation for the band. And we thought, okay, how can we go on? What kind of musical direction can we take? And Till the End of Time and Weapons of Love are the only 2 songs left I have on this cassette tape. There is everything else is gone into Nirvana, nothing to be found. And we thought, okay, let's take these songs, let's take the original arrangement, make a new recording with Alan on vocals, and show the people maybe how Mad Max could have sounded in the 90s. And that was the story of those 2 songs. And I think it was a good musical direction. And when Michael Voss came back in the 2000s, we kind of changed a little bit the musical. We had a lot of musical changes in 45 years, of course. Different singers came, go, and I'm the only one who's left from 1981, at least. And
a lot of musical trends would have changed at the time too, huh?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Michael Voss was more into the American sounding bands like Bon Jovi at that time, Doc and Motley Crue and stuff like that.
Yes.
I was more the British metal guy. And when Michael Voss left at the end of the 80s, I thought, okay, I wanted to go back more into this guitar riff oriented songwriting, like I started, and if you listen to especially to Till the End of Time, this is a song based on the intro guitar riff.
Yeah.
And that is something I wanted to Michael Voss was more of course into this more commercial kind of songwriting, like the earlier Bon Jovi stuff, and I was more the guy who was basing a song on the guitar riff. And that's what I wanted to show with Till the End of Time and Weapons of Love, that it's still working today for Mad Max to put the basic of a song into a guitar riff. Alan, for example, on the Bullet song, maybe you have recognized that this is a song, for example, this is not based on a guitar riff. It's more based on the melody.
The melody, that's right,
and having some really outstanding, great vocal lines. Because that's natural, because Alan is a singer, and of course, he's taking care that his voice sounds as good as possible.
That's right.
I'm more the inventor of guitar riffs. I'm more the Rudolf Schenker guy, take, for example, Rock You Like a Hurricane, an all-time classic that's based on this one guitar riff. And every little kid that learns rock guitar wants to learn the guitar riff of Highway to Hell and Rock You Like a Hurricane.
Don't they? Exactly. Yeah. I started with Smoke on the Water, I'll tell you that much. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and the Bullet song is more a singer's songwriter thing. And maybe that's the reason why you like it so much, because it
Story.
shows the singer at the absolute top-notch version with fantastic melodies, something a guy that writes songs that are based on a guitar riff can't do.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect match. Alan is bringing in this melodic singer stuff, and I'm bringing in the guitar riffs, and yeah, that matches perfectly.
Yeah, awesome. I love that, Jürgen. And one last quick question before we wrap up for the night is, are you using a lot of the same gear that you used to use back in the day, like Marshalls, or are you using like 5150s, or is there even a little bit of like modern technology in there, like the Cortex and stuff like that?
No modern, no. I mean, look at me.
Nice.
I'm a traditional guy. No modern shit included. No, it's just the old guitars, old Gibson guitars.
Yeah.
And I even have my
He's old school.
JPM 800 Marshall that I used in 1981.
Yes.
And one of my very early flying Vs, and I still have, you won't believe it, it's hopefully Joe Bonamassa doesn't want to buy it. I still have my very first Gibson Les Paul Jr. from 1958.
Oh, boy.
I bought for like $600 in Los Angeles at Norman's Rare Guitar back in the very early 80s when nobody wanted to have this.
Yeah.
And so it's very, very traditional stuff. My other guitar player who's playing in the band, he's a little bit more into this Van Halen stuff from the 80s, which is okay for me as well. But I'm sticking to the traditional Marshall Gibson combination.
Yeah,
Nice.
I love it. That's awesome, Jürgen. And I'll just quickly say, I just want to plug the album to everyone, coming out September 4th. Now, obviously, me and Kyle got to have an early listen. Thank you very much, Jürgen. But also, September 4th is the date for everyone. Yep. Get excited. And that is also through Raw, a division of Reigning Phoenix Music. And everyone get ready for Stories of Destiny, September 4th. And this has been Jürgen Breforth. And thank you very much for your time tonight, Jürgen. And
thanks for the great questions, and thanks for keeping so much work into Mad Max and doing the promotion in Australia. And hopefully, maybe it brings us over.
That's what we want to see next. That was going to be one of my last questions, but I won't get right into that. We talked about it a little bit at the start, and hopefully we can see Mad Max down in the shores. Not to mention, the name is synonymously related to Australia when it comes to the film franchise as well. So I think that name would go synonymous with Australia. People are going to see that on a poster and go, yeah, I'm going to see that show.
Good work in Australia.
Yeah, it's going to work in Australia perfectly.
Yeah. Okay, thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jürgen. Thank you for your time.
Okay,
and I've loved listening to the album, and it's even led me back through the discography. And we're going to put all of the details in the description, and we're going to share the hell out of this. And we want more people in Australia to jump on that Mad Max train.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks,
Thank you, Jürgen.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.